I will request all to write your name and membership number in chat box and fill the Google form. The link for the Google form will be shared you in chat box. Let's start the today's session. Good evening. Myself CMA Vinayak Kulkarni and along with CMA Ashish Bhavsar welcome you for the series on Excel macro. Today is the fifth day of the series. Today the topic covered today will be automatic procedure and events, vary hiding Excel sheet, a dragging of cell content till last cell. The speaker for the entire series is Nachiket Pendakar sir. He is a Microsoft certified trainer and Excel expert. With this short introduction, I welcome our speaker, she is Nachiket Pendakar sir. Sir, over to you. Sir, your voice is not coming. Hello. The audio is not reachable, sir. We can't hear, able to hear you.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, now it is audible.
Okay, I'm actually using the laptop speaker. So apparently there's an issue with my headset or something. It's not getting connected. Maybe some. So headset was actually on, but somehow
Hmm.
it is not getting connected very well.
No issue, sir.
So anyways, I hope now you
Yeah,
can
it is now
at least
audible. You can
audible.
start the session.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your confirmation. So we will start today's session, and today I wish to do something slightly different. So the past 4 or 5 sessions, now we are like halfway through, and till now we haven't touched development activity. So today onwards, I would like to take up development from scratch. We'll take some easy example, and from there we will get started. Okay, so probably we will just compare the two things. Okay, like sorry, combine the two things. One is the development from scratch, and second is reading the existing macros just to get some more ideas. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Uh, why the entire screen is not appearing? Okay, I think that's desktop. Can you see my screen? I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is the variables file. Okay, one of the files that we had was variables. Okay, we have finished a few files from here. I think till number 4 we have finished. So let us take up an activity for writing a macro. So we have variables sheet file which has two worksheets. Okay, and for these two worksheets and maybe for some more worksheets, we can insert some more worksheets. Okay, So what I would like to do is I will insert one more sheet. The keyboard shortcut for that is Shift F11. Okay. If I press Shift F11, then because my types sheet was active sheet. Okay. So now sheet 1 is visible here. Okay. This is the new worksheet. Maybe I would like to rename it. Okay. So I'll just rename it as say 2. Or should I give some other names? Uh, I'll just write it as sheet number 2. Okay, and then I'll insert one more and I'll rename it as another sheet. Okay, just some words I'm just giving some names. Okay, maybe I'll just move it over here. So now this is the order in my case. There is sheet which is going with the number 1. Okay, the sheet name is simply the digit 1. Then there is sheet number 2, that kind of a description. Another sheet, and then types is the last sheet. And probably there can be more sheets like these. Suppose for these sheets together, I wish to create a table of contents. Can I? Can I create a table of contents? Can I write a macro so that at the click of a button, a table of contents, that is a list of all the worksheets, gets generated? Okay, this macro doesn't exist. So we'll have to create it from scratch, and that's what we are going to learn today. Okay, is everybody with me? I request everyone to insert sheets as suitable. Make sure that your file structure and my file structure, they are identical. When I say structure, I also hint at the order. So my very first sheet on the left side is 1. Then I've got sheet number 2. Then I've got another sheet, and then I've got types. Okay, these are the sheets. Just excuse me for a moment. Create these sheets. I'll be back in a moment. Yeah. So are you all with me? Have you created these worksheets? Can we go ahead and write the macro as necessary? Vinayak sir, one thing I would like to check, that particular file of macro code library, has it been shared with the participants? Or are we in a position to share it? Maybe by uploading it as a Google Drive link or something. Yes, Vinayak sir? Vinayak sir, I think Vinayak sir might not be at the desk. So this exercise file link is there. Okay, that is one thing, but does it contain that macro code library file? Let us just check what all things are there. So I think that macro code library is missing in this. Only the exercises are present. Okay, on this Google Drive, can we upload that library?
Yes, sir, sure. We will do that.
Can we do it right away, maybe? And
yeah, just a minute, just a minute.
Yeah, sure. You can take a few minutes for that. It would be really great if that can be shared. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll just discuss the logic by the time that happens. Okay, probably Vinayak sir will share another link in few minutes. Till then, let us discuss it logically. The first thing is you must formulate logic. Don't be in a hurry to open the VBA hint window and start writing the code. Writing the code happens later. First, can we write down some steps? Okay, maybe I'll just write them down here itself. Okay, what steps will we follow? So first step could be that we need to run through all the sheets, right? One after the other. And we need to compile their names and then enlist them. So what we'll need is a loop for a loop covering all the sheets. Can I put it that way? We'll create a loop which will cover all the sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can we try for that way? Then while doing that, we'll make a list of the, and probably before that, where we want our table of contents. We want that in a dedicated separate sheet, right? You have 4 sheets and then there will be a 5th worksheet, and that 5th worksheet will be your table of contents, right? Which will host the list of the sheets. Do you agree with me? Okay, participants are requested to be attentive in this particular exercise. This part of the exercise, this is the crucial part. Okay, this part I feel is extremely crucial because this part will tell us that how we are going to write the macro. So actually before this, I should be writing insert a sheet and rename it as table of contents. Okay, and then loop covering all the sheets. Just give me 1 second. I see. Rajendra Afreji, do you want to present something? Okay, you are requesting for a presentation. Do you want to share your screen or something? Yeah. Or maybe that was a mistake. Okay. So first thing is I'll insert a sheet. Second thing is then I'll write a loop covering all the sheets. And then the third step is make a list of the sheets in table of contents worksheet. That's it. These are broad 3 steps. Okay, there might be some nitty-gritties within that, but broadly speaking, these are the 3 steps. Do you agree with me? Yeah. Does this make sense in terms of basic logic?
Sir, we have uploaded the library.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your efforts. So, sir will be sharing. I think he has shared.
The link has been shared.
Link has been
I will
shared.
request all to download from the link.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So this macro code library is going to be important. When I will download it, I think it may not be on this particular machine. I'll just download it very quickly. Yes, download it in my downloads. Or it must have gone at the bottom. Okay, it's here. It. Yeah. All right. So I'll come to this file later. I've just downloaded it and kept it ready. But for now, what we can do is we'll come back to this file and let us see if we can do that. So I'll go to developer. Inside developer, I've got Visual Basic. I'll click on Visual Basic. There is an existing module, but let's insert another module. Should we? Let's try and insert another module. So I'll go to Insert tab at the top and then I'll click on Module. Okay. Ordinarily, every macro I like to place in a separate module rather than mixing. Only really small procedures are there, then I keep in the same module. Okay, you can fundamentally go on writing in one module itself. Nobody can say it is incorrect. But just that to have a little more organized structure of my macros, I would like to insert a module here. Okay, you come to insert tab and then module. Okay, how should we define this module, or what name should we give? So I'm just going to call it TOC. So I'll go to view tab and then I'll click on properties window. So view tab properties window, module 1 over here. And you can see for properties, in properties, there is only one property, basically the name. Okay, in view tab, you have properties window. If you click on that, F4 is the keyboard shortcut. The properties window becomes visible. Make sure your module 1 is highlighted. Then the bracket name is also module 1. Instead of that, module 1 is like a sheet 1. That's not a self-explanatory name. So I just call it TOC. You may ask me why TOC. So TOC is table of contents. Okay, this is the name of the module, which if you glance at the project explorer here, you can immediately see which module is are we talking about. But if I double click here, then on the right side, I don't have anything written right now. Okay, so we can just start writing. I can come here and I can write sub. So I want you to do this with me. I think I'll try to go slowly. Okay, at any point, if you feel I've gone too fast, please tell me so then I will go slowly. Your first command will be sub command. You need to start with subroutine, correct?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sub
Can I ask one thing?
followed by some name.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
go
ask.
ahead.
I'm sorry to ask you this. Can you just tell once more how do we start a new module?
Yeah, please go ahead, ask.
I'm just asking. Can you just repeat how do we start a new module?
So you need to come to insert tab.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and insert module. In insert, we have module.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay.
And
Thank
if
you.
you want, you rename it.
Okay.
Okay, renaming of module is not compulsory. It's just that from a better organization perspective, you may rename it. That you would like to
Okay.
have it organized.
Okay.
And then we do have this TOC. Okay.
So 1 minute.
Yeah.
So when I go to developer now, I'm getting a blank screen. That is, I'm not getting the uh, project VBA project window. So where should I click to get that?
When you say blank screen, you have gone to developer tab.
Yeah.
Are you talking about developer tab or after
Developer
clicking on
tab.
Visual Basic, now
Visual.
you
I've
can
gone
see a
into
blank.
Visual Basic.
Okay. So you are now in VBA window, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you inserted the module?
I have inserted the module, so I can just see
So it is
module
blank
1.
to begin with. Yes. In my module also it is blank. We are going
No.
to start with
Inside, not inside the module. I'm saying the left-hand side corner, what we can see now, project VBA project and.
you need to click on View tab and then you have
Okay.
to click on Project Explorer.
Okay.
Then Project Explorer becomes visible.
Fine. Thanks.
Okay. So Project Explorer becomes similarly properties window. The window at the bottom is properties. Okay, this on the left side there is another pane, right? There are two panes on my left side, project VBA project and then properties window. Even properties window, if you want to view, if you want to bring it, then you need to click on view and properties window. Okay, view project explorer, view properties window. Ideally, both should be visible so that you can work better.
Okay.
You
Now
said,
make sure you're in the correct module.
sir,
Okay,
you
then
said we can rename the module, but how do we rename it? It's appearing as module 1. How do I rename it?
pay attention, pay attention. I'm
Yes.
showing it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
have inserted a new module. Let's say only for demonstration, I'm inserting one more module. Those who are with me need not do this. Okay, I'm just demonstrating. If I insert a module, insert and module, then by default it will have some name. This is the default name, module 1. So you invoke this properties window. Do you have properties window? If no, then you come to view properties window.
Okay.
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 view properties window, and then properties window is visible. So
Yes.
name is a property here, which you can
Okay.
change.
Thank you very
Say,
much. Thank you.
I'll just call it trial underscore name. This is a trial name. Okay, because actually there are two words. I cannot leave a space. Space is not allowed. If I leave a space and hit enter, it will say not a legal object name. So actually there is nothing illegal about it, but basically spaces are not allowed. So if I want, I can put a hyphen and I can write either hyphen or underscore. Sorry, I actually was hinting at underscore. So my preference is to underscore. And now I've got one more module trial name. Okay. So this is actually extra module. This is just for trial purpose. So what I'll do is I'll remove this module. I don't want anything to be done here. So I come to this module, I do a right click here at trial underscore name. And then I would like to say remove trial underscore name. So that this particular thing gets removed. Okay, now read this question very carefully. When you do a right click and then you click the remove button, okay, then you get this message. Do you want to export trial name before removing it? Okay, let's respond to the question asked. Many times what happens is when we try to delete something, it asks you, do you really want to delete? Then your response is yes, especially when you are damn sure that you want to delete it. Okay, this is not that question. It is asking, do you want to export trial name before removing it? Now, the interesting part is even if you press yes button, it will get deleted. Even if you press no button, that will get deleted. That is not the point. The moment you choose delete, it will get deleted. The only question is, do you want to export it before removing it? If you export it, then the macro will have a separate existence apart from this file. Right now, this module is a part of this file. So long as the file is open, this module is open. But for some other modules, you need not do this. Okay, it can have an existence. At least technically they can be in existence. Okay, in the form of a .bas file, it will get stored. Okay. So now I'm very consciously going to press no. No point in exporting trial underscore name, right? It's a dummy module. So I'm going to press no. Even if I press no, does get removed. Can you see? It got deleted. So any module that you want to remove, just do a right click. And then remove, sorry. Was it? I think I clicked somewhere. So the name of this is TOC, right? Okay, so if I do a right click, I'll get remove TOC. Okay. Now everyone's with me. Finally, have you got a module called TOC? I'm not going to delete TOC. It was only a discussion I was having. So let TOC be the one in blue color like this. If you double click, then you will see a faint highlighting. Okay, now I'll place my cursor over here. And I would like to type something. What should I type? So to begin with, it is sub. The first command is always the sub command. Okay, that is the starting point. Sub followed by a name. What name would you like to give? So let's say I call it table underscore of underscore contents. A little longish name, but that's fine. So table underscore of underscore contents is my suggested name. Okay, let us not have a discussion on what should be the name. So this is one suggested name which will work for sure. If you don't like my name, you can take any other name. Okay, name is your choice. I would like to leave that to you. Okay, we will not discuss it, debate it. Okay, we'll just move ahead. Have you written this sub followed by a single value? Even if it is a phrase, it should be composed of underscore. So effectively, it's a single value. Now when I press enter, I get the line end sub automatically, right? Did you happen to write end sub? Hello? If you write sub,
No.
then write the name of the subroutine and hit enter. the line of end sub gets automatically created. Yes or no? Do you agree or disagree? Hello? Comes automatically, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Great. What happened to my end sub actually? Something happened. Okay. What was I going to show? Just check whether there are any comments. Okay. Anuradha ji, is your problem solved or does it still persist? Is the problem still there? The problem that you are facing? Okay, it is solved. Great. Okay, anyone else, just in case you have put something in chat and I may not have paid attention to, if it is still pending, let me know. Okay. So then I would like
Just
to
a
move
small
ahead.
question.
Yeah,
Hello?
please go ahead.
Yeah, just start to see you are taking a variables file. If an Excel file, then we have to save it as a macro enabled file. Then we'll begin with this.
Yes. But then this is already a macro enabled workbook, na? But ordinarily, yes, ordinarily you may start with a non-macro enabled, that is the .xlsx file. You'll have to save it as a .xlsm file every time you have a
Okay.
macro.
And then we'll have
Okay,
a
this
blank
file of,
VBA, right?
sorry?
Then we will have a blank VBA, and now we can begin with that. If I take a blank XLS file, save it as a macro enabled file, and then we can begin like this, right?
See, macro enabled is a file type. So that file type means it is ready to catch the macro. So you need to have a macro in the first place. Then it can be stored or it cannot be stored. We can talk about that subsequently. So it will stay blank. So macros are not going to come from like from thin air. Macros are something we'll have to write or we'll have to borrow or we'll have to copy paste, something like that. Okay. So that we are doing that. The only question is, okay, if with recording or by scratch or a combination of the two, you ended up writing a nice macro, which is quite useful to you. You spent half a day thinking about each and everything and you did testing everything. Now, finally, when you try to say it's a .xlsx file and you end up losing it, do you want to be in that mode? So that's where it has to be saved in .xlsm. That is only a format. That is only the way Excel is ready to pick it up. Okay. So now I would like to move on. So this line came automatically. So this is linked to this line. Okay, the moment you type the first line, last line comes because this is like start line and this is a stop line. Unless there is a stop line, then the start line won't have any meaning. Then you can go for infinite macro. The macro will keep executing each and everything. It needs to have a well-defined end. And Excel feels that anyways every macro is going to end. So why shouldn't I keep as a default thing? The moment you write your name and hit enter, this comes automatically. Okay, so this is useful. And because these things are related, can you see the related words are blue in color? Then we have this black colored one, and then this end sub, which is again in blue color. Okay, the sub and end sub are in blue color, and this actual name is in black color. So why so? Remember, if something is in blue, typically they go as pairs or triplets of course. Basically, a set of course. So sub and sub is a set. Mark the beginning, mark the end. You start with one line and the second line gets generated automatically.
Sir,
Hmm.
one question, one small question. Is there any particular reason why these blue and black colors are not
So
distinguishable?
blue commands are always in structure. So why
I
ends up is
understood.
blue? Because this ends up becomes meaningful only if there is a sub. Why sub is meaningful? It becomes relevant only if you have got ends up.
But what I was saying in my screen, this blue and black are not clearly distinguishable. Like any
Okay. So
reason,
right now
any
what we have is, see, I have highlighted table of contents. Table of contents is in black, the rest everything is in blue right now.
so probably there will be some problem with my display settings. That is why this is not
Yeah,
distinguishable. I
possible.
believe. Okay.
Possible.
I'll find out. Okay. Right.
Okay, anyways, you just keep writing. See, all these
Okay.
are relatively minor points. This is
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
come to the major part where we have to write the macro. Okay,
Yes.
just make sure that you have written the, it's still important. When I say minor, I don't really want to dismiss it, but it has a limited purpose that these should be blue. So just recall what happened earlier. When you went for, like, if I go to variables macro, do I see anything in blue? Do I see a few lines in blue? If I can't see them, then that's a problem. If this here, if the blue colored ones are present, then there is no problem. So that you can check. Okay, otherwise the problem with the file.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come back to this TOC now. Now let's actually start writing. So first line and last line we have written. Now let's come to the main agenda. Main agenda is this: insert a sheet and rename its table of contents. Rename it as table of contents. So for that, just underline. Okay, so this step we are going to do now. How to insert a new worksheet? Okay, don't tell me F11. Okay, F11 is something I told you a few minutes back. That was because we are performing a one-time task. Okay, but when you go back to work, you should be able to use that in your day-to-day work. Okay, so let's see, this is a very simple task. The overall entire task has been broken into these three categories, and the first one is we need to insert a sheet and rename it as table of contents. So let's understand. We are going to insert a sheet. Now, how we are going to insert a sheet? We can either record it, or since plus you can do one thing. Just refer to the library. I think library is easy. Library will make your life easy. So let's open the library. Either you can do a recording and you can put that also one by one, step by step, or you can just come to the library, because these are basic things. Inserting a worksheet and renaming it is a basic thing, right? Okay, this is a blocked one. I'll just unblock it, or I'll just forget it. I won't care to unblock. I'll make it editable. Okay, if I come to the module called library, if I open this macro code library, it has got many modules. Okay, what can you see? Yeah, these are the things. I have made a compilation. This is a small compilation. I'm not saying this is a large one, but I have tried to make one. Now here you can just do a control F and try to find. What do we want? Insert sheet, right? Let us try insert sheet. Acha. You want insert to be.
This is a chronologically second command to add a sheet. It's mentioned.
Where is that?
Chronologically, it is a second from the top.
Yeah. Just 1 second. I am just fetching that. Just excuse me for a moment. Somebody is without. People. अरे क्या समय किस समय का मेरा मीटिंग चालू है आप एक काम कीजिए शोर नहीं होगा हाँ मॉर्निंग सुबह नहीं शोर नहीं करेंगे आप ये शोर हो जाएगा शोर अरे यार मेरे को 7:30 का ही समय मैंने कब से मैंने फोन करके रखा था अभी आप मॉर्निंग में आ जाओ फिर रूम बुकिंग हुई है थोड़ा चेक हो रहा है
So you are on mute.
Acha, maybe somebody muted me. Now you can, this is this second line actually. To add a sheet along with naming it. So it was add a sheet and I was trying for add sheet. Okay. Add a sheet. Okay, if you look at the very second line, practically, second command, sheets.add.name. Now this can be useful, right? To add a sheet and along with it, naming it. Now this is a 2-in-1 code. You do a recording and I'll guarantee you, you will not get a command like this. Okay, because in recording, practically what will happen, a sheet will get inserted and it will carry a default name. That default name will be caught and then it will be renamed. Okay, that's how it will happen. So what I'll do is I'll just highlight this, copy. Okay, make your life easy. Don't try to type, just highlight this entire line, do a control C copy, try to make an assembly of code. Okay. And go to TOC. Okay. You will have to use your project explorer. Your alt tab window won't work. Okay. Alt tab keyboard shortcut won't work. You are not going to the two different windows. You are going to two different modules in the same window. The window for VBA is this. Within that, we are talking about TOC. If you scroll somewhere, you will see TOC as the module. Double click on that. And now we have come to our module and then I paste it. So this is going to be my first line. Okay, spacing is not important, whether you give a space or you don't give a space. Spacing is only for my clarity. Okay, so you need not have any space in between two lines. That is also okay. So sheets.add.name equal to subtotals new. Okay, in our case, we are not we don't want subtotals new. What we want is table of content. So whatever name you desire that you type. Okay, make slight changes whenever appropriate. Okay, are you with me? So I think the first step is over. In the first step, it was just a one-liner code. Insert a sheet and rename it as table of contents. I think that's being achieved logically. Okay. Is everyone through? Yes. Should I proceed further? Okay. I guess Shailaja is with me. Asmi is with me. Okay. I hope the others are also with me. So I would like to move ahead. So now the second step. What is my second step? Loop covering all the sheets. Do I have loop covering all the sheets? Again, in the same VBA window, through Project Explorer, I'll come to this project called Macro Code Library. And within that, I've got a module with the name library. So please come to the library module once more. Okay, this is the library. And just see whether you have a loop for sheets. Okay, so I'm referring to this one. Okay, I'm referring to this for next loop involving sheets.count. Can you locate this one? You will have to scroll it sufficiently so that you can locate this particular code. So I'm saying we'll build up a for next loop involving sheets.count. So I request you to copy these 3 lines, highlight and copy these 3 lines. Okay, just highlight and copy. That's all. Then come to TOC and paste it. So we get this. So we get this. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Okay, just do a copy paste of that code. Okay, you need to go to library module, locate this for next loop involving sheets.count, locate it. It has actually 3 lines. Okay, the for line, the next line, and in between there is one more thing. So in all there are 3 lines. You highlight them, copy them, and then come to TOC and paste it there. Okay, so effectively, do you have this? Try to do minimum typing work for 2 reasons. One is if you do copy paste, then you will do the work faster. Now these 3 lines at once I have copy pasted. To that extent, my work is saved. Secondly, and very importantly, if you type, you will make all sorts of mistakes. You will make spelling mistakes, then your variables will go for a toss. In command also you will make mistakes and then you will get unnecessary red colored lines. Okay, syntax error. Fine. Should we proceed? Hello. Now what do we want here? For j equal to 1 to sheets.count. So that means this loop, the way this loop is going to work, is going to work on your sheets. Running from the first sheet, your lower limit is 1 and the higher limit is sheets.count. So how many sheets do you have? Excel will first of all count them. How many sheets do you have? Now in my case right now I've got 4 sheets. So this sheets.count will assume the value 4. This is at the time of execution. Excel will first determine the value of sheets.count. Then it might get 4. That means this loop will run between 1 to 4. And then you can have this line something like sheets j.select. Okay, I will let this line to be. It's not necessary to have this line, but I'll come to that point later. Since I got it by copy paste, let it be there. Sheets j.select. And I'll just press enter and I'll make some space. And I would like to do what? Now somewhere we have to capture the name, right? We have to capture the name of this. So it says sheets into bracket j.select. So sheets bracket 1, sheets bracket 2, sheets bracket 3. That way, in every round of loop, very first line. Okay, in that we are selecting. Okay, so first sheet, second sheet, third sheet, that will be selected. This first, second, third only in terms of position. Okay, we are not talking about the sheet name which is one. We are not talking about sheet name which contains two. Okay, but the first sheet from the left, the second sheet from the left, and so on. So sheets J dot select. Next, we want to capture the name, right? So I'll just use some variable. Okay, so sheet name. Can I use sheet name? I always test. First, I type the variable. Suppose I'm interested in sheet name as the variable. I type it and I go down and see if anything becomes capital. For example, I want to use date as a variable. If I go down, D becomes capital automatically, right? Date, DATE, if I write, if I go down, it automatically becomes capital. So then I never use date, the word date as a variable. Okay, I might use something else. If it's a transaction date, then I'll call it tran date instead of simply date. That way I will create my this
So one
variable.
question.
Yeah.
So since we have sequentially given a command first, or that we are adding a sheet with the name table of contents, wouldn't that also get captured and sheets dot count would be 5
Yes,
in this?
very good question. So we need to work for that. That's a very important point. Okay, who has asked that question?
Asmi here, sir.
Asmi. Okay. Asmi, you have asked a very good question. So I'm not sure whether everybody has quickly followed that. So I'll just tell. See, as Asmi has highlighted, we are going sequentially. So this is the very first line. As a result of this first line, what will happen logically if you think a new sheet gets created with the name table of contents. So now the question is, do you want in the list of table of contents of your sheets, do you want the sheet table of contents to be included? Table of contents itself is a sheet. Do you want that to be included? The answer would be yes or no. Just for fun, we'll take the answer as no. Because if it is yes, you don't have to do anything. If the answer is yes, you absolutely don't have to do anything. Okay. If the answer is no, then you will have to write something. So we will take no. Okay, so Asmi, I will answer your, what kind of code we will write to manage that is something I'll answer in due course. I'll not answer it right now.
Okay, sir.
But I've noted your point and we will work upon that. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Let's move ahead for now. So I'm talking about the sheet name. Okay. If I use this variable value sheet name and if I use down arrow, up arrow, nothing becomes capital. So sheet name I can use as a variable. So this is my suggested variable name. If you don't like this variable name, if you can think of something else, then you can define it the way you want to. Okay, only alphabets are allowed. The 1 to 0, those digits are allowed. But when I say digit means the digit should come along with alphabets. Alphabetic, alphanumeric. Or you can involve alphabets, numbers, and or some selected special characters. That's how you can define variable. I mean, you can't have a variable which is composed exclusively of digits. A 4-digit number as a variable. Because a pure number is always a constant. It's never a variable. So sheet name. What is sheet name? I say, now this is something you'll have to type. Active sheet dot name. Okay, you might ask me that how come this code? So my response to you will be you will have to keep faith in me. Okay. That this is the command. Sheet name, it's on the left hand side of the equation. This is the recipient and this is the giver. So giver or the value given is active sheet dot name, and that we are capturing in sheet name. So first we are selecting a sheet and then we are capturing the active sheet name in this. What to do with the captured name? We'll have to pour it somewhere, right? You have captured it. What will you do with that? For example, my first sheet number is 1. Suppose I start with second one. Okay. Sheet number 2. I have captured this value sheet number 2. Okay, sheet number 2, the way it has happened or it has been written, I have captured that. Now what to do with that? So maybe I can make a list here. One after the other. Okay, so you can just identify something and then you can keep parking those values. All right, got it. Let us try. So now what I'll do is this after name I need to pour. So in which worksheet? In table of contents. We'll make a list because we are more keen on making a list. Okay, so how we are going to go about doing that? I would like to highlight that to begin with, maybe you will start with the second line. First line is almost always is reserved for the headers. Okay, it's an unwritten rule. So what we are making is a list of values. It's not a header. So I'll start writing from here. Okay, second row, first column from there. And now we will put. Now which worksheet are we talking about? Could be any of the 4. Okay. So now there is one catch here. And I would like to highlight it to everybody. So we have poured the first value. Okay, just for example, my first value is this. So this value gets poured over here. Capture it in a variable and then pour it here. But then the next name of the next worksheet, say another sheet. Okay, this is the next name. Where do I want the next name at the same point? At the same place? Yes or no? Okay, it should move down. Do you agree?
Next row.
Yes or no? So from second row, it has to come to the third row. After you write something in the third row, it should come to fourth row. So this is like ABC is your first sheet, then PQR is the next sheet, then XYZ is your third sheet, and so on. They have to be enlisted one below the other, right? So what I suggest to you is you can be a little smart. One thing is you can make a loop for it, but this loop can be a part of the current loop itself. So you can just do one thing. You just write your counter equal to counter plus 1. Counter equal to counter plus 1. Okay. Now what is this counter equal to counter plus 1? So before I go ahead, I would like to define the counter. And its initial value you can put as 1. We'll see. Because we want to pour it from second row onwards, right? So keep the initial value as 1. So this is initial value. This is how you write the initial value. Now, how did I write this? The moment I thought, okay, we'll need a counter, I defined a counter and then I went up and I wrote. So this is how the programs are written. Some people have a notion that, okay, I'll invest time and efforts such that it will automatically. Okay, so basically this is something for which you need to keep trying. You need to go up and down. It's not that in one shot from left to right, you will write down everything. Okay, you write down in a slow and steady manner.
So is there no need for defining the type of counter? Whether it is to be an integer or something of the sort?
No, no, nothing of that sort.
Okay.
Okay, so I wrote something down and then I got reminded, oh, counter itself was not defined. And then I just wrote it in. Okay, is everyone clear till here logically? Now, what will I do with the counter we have not discussed? Apart from counter, I hope you have written till now whatever I have written. And then make space after counter equal to counter plus 1. And now using that, you can write. So where do you wish to write the name? In table of contents, right? Okay, I mean, I really don't know which sheet might be active. How do I take the sheet reference? So instead of,
Active sheet R2.
no, but you are not keen on putting it in active sheet. You'll pick it up from active sheet. Okay, from active sheet's name you have captured. Where are you pouring it? In the TOC file, in the table of contents, right? In this we have to put. So I'm going to write, let's say, what was I writing? Huh. You write it this way. Let me see if I can help you in copying from one of the old clients. That is that macro code library. The macro code library is a compilation of all that we have done actually in the past. Okay, library, I double click. And let us see whether we have a counter kind of a thing. Can't see that code readily. Actually, common syntax must be somewhere. Let me try once more.
So you're looking for a worksheet?
I'm looking for one particular structure. Okay, forget it. Let's type it out. I was just trying to be a little lazy if possible. And more than lazy, my bigger concern is what if I make a spelling mistake or something. Okay, but I don't see that readily. So I request you to come back to TOC module. Okay, in your project explorer, just make it scroll it in such a way so that you can view both. And then I click on this. Okay. So if I click on TOC, I come here. And now let's write it this way. You write the word worksheets. Please note the S at the end. Okay, worksheets. Then open bracket. Then if you have written it properly, you will see something like an Excel command. Sorry, Excel function. Worksheet function, like you have an argument. It's a single argument thing. Just need to give the index. Which worksheet are you talking about? So I'm talking about where's that file gone actually? Achha, it's here. So worksheets, in fact, why am I searching? Worksheets will be TOC itself. Okay, worksheets TOC. Now this TOC needs to be enclosed in a pair of double inverted commas. What if you don't put a pair of double inverted commas? TOC, the way it has been written, fundamentally it qualifies for being a variable. So Excel will feel if without double quotes, that means this is a variable. Excel will simply then stop it at this point because this variable is not defined. So how will you proceed? Okay, so enclose that in double inverted comma, then TOC is TOC. Close the bracket. And then you write dot. And then again cells. Okay, and then I'll open bracket. And which cell am I talking about? Although it is one cell, it is written as cells. Otherwise, you'll get wrong results. What was that? Well, now just cross check. I think so. I think from second row onwards, first column. I think let's start from that. So in worksheet TOC, you come to the cells 2, 1. You see whether this makes sense to you. Worksheet TOC K cells 2, 1 में आपको चाहिए sheet name. Now look at the entire sequence. Okay. First of all, just keep a little blind faith if required, and you write down this line. Eventually, I'll demonstrate. But this line, even though some of you have individually followed it, I'm not sure whether you have the entire picture in your mind. So you first go to your desired sheet. You then you check capture the value of active sheet. The name active sheet dot name and is captured here. And then counter we increment by 1, and then in this, sorry, my bad, my biggest mistake, sorry. We'll start from 2, 1, but I will not write 2, 1. We'll use counter, 1. My bad, sorry. Okay, please make this change. Otherwise, if I write 2, 1 in an absolute sense, whenever it finishes the condition comes down, it will keep writing in 2, 1. So in 2, 1 initially it was 2, 1 is a constant to keep overwriting. And the problem with macro is dumb. Otherwise, it's highly efficient. Efficiency wise, it is unparalleled efficiency, but then it doesn't have intelligence of its own. So it will ask you. You have asked me 4 times to dump the same value over there. I used to stay in the adjacent building. Okay, over there. So why this particular number was put here? Okay, in that adjacent particular cell. Sorry. Okay, why this number has been put? Why it is being written again and again? Okay, on that particular cell, why that value is being overwritten? Okay, as a human, if you ask your assistant to do that, he will point out. Okay, dumbest of the fellow will point out why we are doing it again and again on that adjacent, on that same cell, why we are overwriting. Okay. But here macro will write it 100 times and will give the output to you quietly. It will feel happy. I don't know whether it feels happy, but definitely it will not feel confused. It will present the output and that will be our problem. Okay, so intelligence we are going to provide, and the macro is as intelligent into bracket or as dumb as we have given the intelligence. Okay, so it just struck me that we wrote 2, 1 in an absolute sense. Okay, it will keep writing in 2, 1 every time. So we'll just write counter, 1. Okay, just make that small correction, counter, 1. In the counter row, to begin with, it is 1. Then it gets incremented in the first round. And then counter, 1 equal to sheet name. Okay, that is the basic idea.
Sir, in fact, that unintended mistake has made the point clear now.
Yeah. So, while writing, I just observed and I wrote, but then while going through, but these kind of mistakes will happen initially. I noticed it immediately. Maybe you will notice it after you run it once in the testing and debugging phase. But let those things happen. Okay. when we are in the flow, we quickly write something and then incorrectly things might get written. It has been by experience that once you feel you have written the macro properly, it is only 50% job done. 50% job is testing and debugging. That takes 50% time and efforts. Okay, 50% of the total efforts required in any project, 50% is till writing of the code. Okay, you drafted all the code. That is only 50%. In testing again, 50% time will be required. Okay, so this is the basic idea. At the end of it, we will be through. Okay. Asmiji had asked one question. I'm still parking it. Okay. So probably I'll first demonstrate, assuming that table of contents also to be included in the table of contents sheet. Okay. The name table of contents should also get included. I will assume that, and let us test till this. Okay. So I think we
Other
have
question.
finished till
The
here. Yeah.
TOC in brackets that we have mentioned after the worksheets command, is that to refer to the sheet name TOC or the something else?
Actually, my bad.
Because the
You should have
name,
written table of contents. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for outlining. I don't know why I wrote TOC. Should have been table of contents. When I was thinking, I quickly wrote TOC. Should have been table of contents, because initially we are going to insert with table of contents. Thanks for pointing that out. Otherwise, again, we would have got some error. Yeah, error number 5 or something. Yeah.
Sir, I actually created another sheet named TOC.
Then whatever is your
To,
name.
to,
Okay,
fit
you
in
need
with
to be
this. To fit in
consistent
with
within
this.
your macro.
Okay.
So within your macro, what sheet name are you writing at the beginning? That same sheet name should appear here. There should be consistency.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, is everyone with me? Have you written code like this? Then first let us test it. While testing, some more clarity will get, some more complications will come, some more points which will make us, hold our head, whatever. Let us see. Are you with me till here? Hello? Please give a confirmation either orally or on chat. I think let us do the testing part. Should we? I think most of them are with me, most of the participants. So very quickly, I would like to do the testing. How do we do the testing? So we resize it. We resize this window suitably. I'll remove the watch window. I have an existing watch window. I'll remove that. See, if required, you can close this Project Explorer and Properties window if required. I'm going to close them. You need not close them. And especially right now, you may close them, but when you're actually doing your work, okay, when your screen is appearing fully, right? Right now, it's only 50% of the screen. You are watching Zoom also, sorry, Teams also, and you are watching Excel also. So you have limited space. So right now you may close them. Later on, it's your call. Okay, make sure that you can see Excel in the background. Make sure you can see your VBA window also. Okay, and now we are ready to get started. Have you resized it? While typing, keep it full. Okay, and then resize it. Once you are through. Once you feel you are through. Okay, so now I'm going to press F8. When I press F8, I can see the yellow highlighting this macro is ready to take off. Again, I press F8. So macro has just taken off. And now the next line is about to get executed. Sheets.add.name equal to table of contents. Should we execute that? Let's say press F8. Just observe what happens when I press F8. It's a 2-in-1 result, correct? Sheet is also inserted, and while inserting, we have renamed it. You do recording of this, okay, not now, but once we are offline, then you do a recording, and I assure you that you will not get the recorded code in one line. You will get it in 2 lines. Do a recording and see. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Next is counter equal to 1. What is this? This is just a declaration. Okay, today I am here to handhold you. So I made you write this. Okay, but then sometimes it doesn't strike us. You might even use a counter, but an initial value should be given to it. It may escape your imagination. So the default value is blank or 0. Okay, blank is equivalent to 0. But now I'm saying no. Let's its initial value be 1. So when I press F8, after pressing F8, now if I look at counter, now counter equal to 1. Okay, everybody.
So I'm getting an compile error at worksheets last this, so it's not going ahead.
Now why you have gone ahead? Wait.
No. I am not able to go ahead to counter also because
In the
worksheet is
very
showing.
first thing, in this line itself, sheets.add.name.
Yeah, when I do F8 over there, na, it goes, the
So
blue
just
mark
check
comes at
for the
worksheets.
spelling. Check for the spelling.
Okay.
Okay, what is your error? Can you read out the error?
It says compile error, invalid use of property.
Have you run and rerun this line?
No,
I mean to say, do you have an existing sheet called table of contents?
no.
Do you already have it? Then only reason I feel is spelling mistake. Observe very carefully. I have put that in the chat box also. Should be sheets.add.name. Can you just copy and paste or maybe type out what is visible in at your end? Okay, what kind of code has got written at your end? If I can see your code, then maybe I can help you. Okay, either copy paste or type. Sheets.add.name table of contents looks good to me. One. Have you written double inverted comma
For
or is it single inverted comma 2 times for that table word?
double inverted commas.
Frankly, I can't see any problem.
So I'll just delete that line and copy it again and see.
Uh, well, you can try that, but I doubt whether that will help you because honestly speaking, this line is the same thing. She's.add.name.
Because my F8 just after I do a sub table of contents, when I press the F8 again, na, it gives me this error. Doesn't go ahead. Spacing is also there.
So are you 100% sure you don't have any other sheet table of contents? Just have a look at your sheet structure. That's the only thing is possible now.
Sir, after
I have
sub,
I
should
have a
it
strong
be?
feeling you have an existing sheet and you are like rerunning this code.
no, sir. I've done it under variables, and there I have only sheet 2, another sheet 1, and types, the 4 which we have created.
You don't have the fifth one.
No.
Maybe if you can present your screen. Okay. Are you having the same login or Teams login on the same machine?
Yeah, same machine.
Unless I see that I won't be able to help you. So please raise a request for presentation. I'll approve it. I'll probably stop my own presentation. Okay, I'll stop sharing. You try to share. Or first, maybe you will have to ask for a permission to
1 minute.
present. Somebody was saying something. Somebody else was asking.
So after the after writing the sub word, when we have mentioned the name, I mean, does that have to be in lowercase or?
It can be upper or lowercase, but cannot have spaces.
Okay.
Sir, for presentation, meeting organizer has to permit.
Correct, but I'm not. Actually, I got
Only
the.
meeting organizers and presenters can share it.
Nee, don't share it, but you'll have to give a request to share.
So how do I give? From where? More
Okay,
action.
let me. What's your name?
Shailaja.
Shailaja. Okay, so let me locate you. See if I can promote you. I think I'm myself. I'm not the president.
Should I send a screenshot?
Just share a screenshot if you can. But how will you share it? That's another thing. Vinayak sir, are you there? Somehow I'm not able to. Just see if you have an option of, when you try to share, does it ask you to seek a permission? Does it allow you to seek a permission for sharing?
I've sent the
Can you try to?
screenshot. I don't know whether you'll be
Ah,
able to view it.
okay. You are able to put a screenshot. That's all I need. Hey, this is fine. Okay. So first of all, there is a space. Why there is a space? That is the thing. Actually, it is not a problem related to this. It's a problem related to the last line. Even I did not pay attention to the last line.
So as
The
soon as
last line is
I
a problem.
press enter in the last line, that space gets created. If I delete that space, and then after
No.
sheet name, if I'm going to,
No,
if I
listen
enter
to
now,
me. No. Listen to me. Space is also not a problem actually.
uh,
After table of contents, you have put a comma. There should be a dot.
oh, sorry. So
It's
then
a
there should be no space between the bracket and the dot.
space also should not be there. But the biggest spoil sport over here is that comma after table of contents. After table of contents, close bracket, you have a comma. It should be a dot. And the error messages are
Fine.
technical.
Now I'm able to go through.
Now it will work. Great. Chalo.
Thank you.
Our job is done. Great.
Sir, I believe even if there is a space before the dot, after the dot also, if a space is there, it will take care, no, sir?
Frankly, no, never tried that. Just try and see what works.
I think automatic.
You don't
I,
put
I,
spaces.
I think automatically it gets created, sir. If I have created a space and put a dot, when I write the next one after that, a space gets created.
Yeah,
Yes.
if it allows spaces, it makes spaces, that's fine. You don't really leave the spaces from your side. Okay, let's come back. So now this sheet is added, sheets.add.name, counter equal to 1. And now I'm having this sheet called table of contents. Now I'm about to start the macro, sorry, the loop. Okay, I'll start when I press F8 for j equal to 1 to sheets.count. So to begin with, the value of j is 1 and it will run till sheets.count. Now, how many sheets do I have? Now my present count is 5. If you bring your mouse pointer to sheets.count, you can see you have 5 sheets. You may ask me how come 5 sheets? Because 4 to begin with and table of contents is the new one. Okay, have you understood the upper limit? Lower limit is 1, upper limit is 5. So in between, running from first sheet till the last sheet, what are you going to do? You are going to select sheets bracket J. Okay. So when I press F8, the way I had the things positioned, the way I had the sheet things positioned, already table of contents was the first worksheet. Okay, so it gets selected. So sheets number 1 is selected. What is the value of J? J value is 1 to begin with. Okay. And now sheet name equal to active sheet dot name. What is sheet name? Sheet name is a variable. To begin with, this variable is holding the value. Nothing actually. It is empty. But when I press F8, it starts holding a value. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster when it comes to F8 mode because we have been doing F8, F8, F8 for so many other codes till now. Okay, so sheet name is table of contents. Again, needless to say, those who find it helpful, you can have a watch window and keep watching certain variables like sheet name or J because they will keep changing. If you want to, there is no compulsion. Next variable is counter. What is the value of counter? We had initialized it at 1 and now I say counter equal to counter plus 1. We know this command. We have used something like this previously also. What I'm saying is the new value of counter equal to existing value of counter plus 1. Existing value is 1 and 1 plus 1 will be 2. So when I press F8, now the revised value of counter is 2. Is this easy to follow? Okay. So now the revised value of counter is 2. Now counter's value has been revised. The final command is you will go to the worksheet table of contents and then you will go to the cell. I'm being very clear here. Cells counter comma 1 and it's like an equation on the LHS. LHS is the recipient and RHS is being received. Who is the recipient? This particular cell counter throw and first column. So counter right now is 2, correct? 2 second row first column. That is the recipient and what is being received is sheet name. What do you have in sheet name? This. So let's press F8 and see. When I press F8, it comes to this cell. Are you convinced about this? Okay, check at your end. I'm getting the name of table of contents itself in the sheet table of contents written in the second row first column. Okay, probably that's the situation at your end also. Okay, are you convinced about it? Yeah, how things are happening. Okay, if you are convinced about it, then you can press F8.
Sir,
And what happens next? J is the command. So the value of J gets incremented and now J becomes 2.
hello, sir Naveen.
Yeah,
Sir, your first sheet is table of content, and in my case, the table of first sheet was number 1, and the table of content was 2. So
okay.
in that case, the as you have received table of content 1, I have received number 1.
That's fine. So you go as per your structure. But are you convinced about the output that you are getting at your end? Okay,
So basically, it will take to the left from left to right first sheet.
correct. It goes from left to right.
Okay.
Okay, from left to right. Whichever is the first sheet that will be picked up, its name will be picked up and will be reproduced here. As simple as that.
Okay.
Okay. So as per your file structure, okay. My file structure is table of contents is first one. Okay. Right. Let's move on. Now J becomes 2. What happens with this? When I press F8, sheets J dot select. So this is going to select the second worksheet. In my case, the second worksheet is with the name 1. Okay, simply the digit 1. So sheet name has an old value or existing value of table of contents. But if I press F8, Now that sheet name gets replaced with 1, and that 1 is in a pair of double inverted commas. Okay, so that's like a number stored as text. Anyways, let it be that way because sheet name is sheet name. So counter equal to counter plus 1, counter's existing value is 2. Now when I press F8, it becomes 3. And now what happens? The same sheet, okay, same column, but counter's value is now revised. So I can use the same code basically, but because I first increment the value, so now the row has changed. Okay, code line remains the same, but the row has changed. And in a different row, I'm going to put sheet name. So when I press F8, now I would like to highlight something here, something that is very interesting. That's an interesting possibility in macros. This is impossible in normal Excel. Okay, which is my active sheet? If you ask me, if you look at my screen, which I'm sharing with you, my active sheet is sheet 1. Okay, 1 with the sheet with the name 1. And I'm putting some value in a cell that belongs to the sheet table of contents. So the way the command got executed, I was pouring some value in table of contents worksheet. The question is this sheet the active sheet? The answer is no. So the question is, can a sheet receive a value despite not being the active sheet? The answer is yes. So is it necessary that first you need to activate the sheet and then put some value in it? The answer is no. It is not necessary. So while I'm in this sheet, I can work on another sheet. That's a tremendous possibility. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to say is my active sheet could be 1, but I could be working on another sheet. I don't have to activate a sheet to work upon it. That's impossible in normal Excel. In normal Excel, you cannot work on a sheet. Okay, you go to some cells and you put some values, maybe put up a formula or something. All that becomes impossible unless you first activate it. That's not the case with macro because you are, before telling about the cell, you have also written the sheet name. So Excel knows that where exactly to go and what it is to be put. Okay. Have you got this point? Anyone wants to
And-
say or ask anything?
And sir, we also find one thing. Okay,
Hmm.
as you go on pressing F8, the on the left side when the main Excel file, you can see the active sheet getting changed from one to the next
Correct,
one
correct.
to the next
Because you
one
have
to
a
the next.
command. Na? You have this command sheets
So,
j dot.
so you can physically see that getting changed
Correct, correct.
without your
That's
clicking the
exactly the
mouse on
reason
the
why I'm
screen.
asking you to, resize your macro code window so that
Hmm.
you can see reflection of your code. The way it is getting executed, you can see its reflection in Excel.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
sir.
why we are not executing the whole code at once. Then we'll not come to know that how things are happening. Okay, so now J is 2. Now I think I'll proceed quickly now. I guess everybody has understood how things are proceeding. So I'll press F8. Now J is selected. Now the revised value of J is 3. Something is written over here. Okay. I'll press F8. The new sheet name is caught. It is sheet number 2. Existing value of counter is 3. When I press F8, it becomes 4. And when I press F8, in the 4th row, first column, this value will be put. My sheet table of contents is not active sheet, but that doesn't matter. Okay. I'll move ahead quickly. J dot select. And just finish off. Okay, drill types, all of them are over. Every sheet is over. If you are through, then when you press F8, it exits the loop. If all the sheets are over, it will exit the loop and then end sub. I'll press F8 and I'll end the subroutine. Now, if I come to table of contents, I can see this. Okay, so the name of the sheet table of contents has also come here. and the other sheets are also now nicely one below the other because we are incrementing it. Okay, we have one line called counter equal to counter plus one. So that is ensuring that you don't end up overwriting your existing value. You have an existing value, you override it with another value. That is not happening. Clear, everybody?
So when we are adding the sheet, is it default that it will always be added to the first sheet, or depends on the
So
which sheet we
whatever
are
is your
after?
active sheet, it will get added to the
Left,
left. So you can do one thing. Now Naveen had this issue.
right.
For some reason, when Naveen executed it, his active sheet was perhaps sheet number 2. And then the table of contents got inserted between sheet 1 and this another sheet called sheet number 2. It came in the middle. So now if I want to present that as an enhancement, what I can do is before I execute this line, okay, you can copy this command, sheets bracket j dot select. You highlight it, you copy it and paste it here. Okay. Sheets j dot select. I copy paste that line. And the only difference that I do is I'll not use j here, I'll use 1, which is a constant. J is a variable actually, but I'll put 1. So what it will do is before you insert the sheet, first it will select the first sheet. So, and then the next command is sheets.add.name. So this ensures that automatically table of contents happens to be your first sheet, which is what you want. You don't know the composition of sheets, correct? By the time this macro is triggered, you really don't know the composition of sheets. So in that case, you can just
The sheet within bracket 1 dot select, that within bracket 1 means that it is first ever sheet in the work.
first sheet in the thing.
First
Okay,
ever
just in
worksheet.
case you want to select this sheet with the name 1. Okay. Sheet with the name 1. How will you select? So you'll have to put this in a pair of double inverted commas. Because whatever is the name of the sheet, it can be the digit 1, or it could be table of contents, or it could be another sheet, or whatever is the name that has to be enclosed in a pair of double inverted commas.
So,
But when you write
just
it
to,
without double inverted commas, it is
sir,
the
just to be
first.
certain,
Huh?
sir, just to be certain about it, just to be certain about it, the file which you are presenting there, if I write sheet within bracket 2 dot select, then it will, in your file, it will start from the sheet named 1, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So second, actually, even if we write the word number 2, it means actually second. So second sheet from the left is
Thank
what
you,
it
sir.
will mean.
Clear.
Okay, this is clear to everybody. Okay, so you can have it something like this. So the very first sheet from the left, I select that first, then I add. So now the addition happens on the left side. So the very first sheet to begin with will become the second sheet, and this sheet will become the first sheet. So your table of content sheet is always on the left side. Getting it? Okay, I think everybody has followed till here. If yes, then let's try to address the point raised by Asmi. What Asmi said was, table of content should be included or no in your listing. Suppose we decide to not include it, to exclude it. How will we ensure that?
J can
So
start
somewhere you
from
are
2.
capturing the sheet name, right? Yeah, you're saying something?
We can start J from 2.
So one simple thing is, because this is going to be always the first sheet table of contents. So you can simply write here 2. Yeah, I think that will be easiest. The easiest way to handle this is you start your loop from 2, correct? Because your table of contents is always going to be the first worksheet, correct? Yes or no? How come I say that? Because you're first of all selecting whatever is your first. Then you are inserting a sheet. This is the first. Okay. Can we try this? Should we try this? We have just made a little changes. So when I press F8, I get started sub table of contents. I'm retesting it. Sheets 1.select. Sheets that dot add dot name equal to table of contents. Now when I try to do that, I get this runtime error 1004. Okay, you can try this. You will also get this. I'm getting the error runtime error 1004. This name is already taken. Try a different one. This error message is not difficult to follow. This name is already taken. Can we take it again? No. So here we need to discuss one more point. Just press the button debug. Okay, so it will come at this point. It will wait for us. While it waits for us, let's just discuss how we want to proceed it. The point is you have the name table of contents, but till now we did not consider the possibility that there might be an existing table of contents. Do you have an existing sheet called table of contents? If the answer is yes, then what do you want to do? Do you want to retain the existing table of contents and beside that place your own new table of contents? Or what do you want to do? Okay, so typically what we would like to do is why to have multiple sheets of table of contents? It is illogical. It doesn't serve any logic. What I would like to do is if let's say some new sheets are added, maybe some sheets are renamed also. Maybe some sheets are repositioned, whatever is the reason. I want to have a fresh table of contents created. I want to like refresh it. Okay, that's the idea. There might be an existing table of contents. Now I want to refresh it. What should happen? The old table of contents should get deleted, right? Let us delete that sheet and then let us insert. Okay, another approach could be don't even delete that. Okay, don't even delete that, but then you can just clear the cells. Okay, you have existing table of contents, right? Don't even delete that. Just clear the content. Okay, either of the two we can go for. Which one should we go for? I think I'll go for the option of deleting it because that will just allow me to discuss one more point, one more code. So the variation that we will adopt is we will delete the sheet and then obviously we'll insert a new sheet and then we'll go ahead. Okay. And maybe as a homework, you can try the other alternative. The other alternative could be you don't end up deleting it. You try to detect whether there is an existing table of contents. If there is an existing table of contents, then you just clear the cells. Okay. So what I'll do is before I proceed, in fact, I'll stop this testing and debugging because I can see that I'm getting a bug here. This is called as bug. Okay, bug means error. Bug means an issue. I'm getting an error message here. I need to work on this first, right? So what I'll do is I'll press this stop button here. Reset blue colored button is there. Reset. I'll press that button so that the execution is stopped. I can see there is a sheet 5 and a sheet 4. Okay. So I'll just delete these sheets. Just in case one or two extra sheets have come up, just delete them so that your file stays decluttered. Okay, let table of contents be there. But now what we are going to do is we'll first consider the possibility that there is an existing table of contents. If it is there, we will delete it. Okay. So how do we do that? Now, one of the easier methods is because you have an existing code, you can just copy paste. Okay, we'll run a loop and we'll see whether there is table of contents. If there is table of contents, we'll delete it. If there is no table of contents, no question of deleting it. So these first three lines I can just copy. Okay, you have already written this. Let's capitalize on that. Okay, so first three lines I highlight. For J, then she's J dot select. And then sheet name equal to active sheet dot name. I copy it. And then I place my cursor at the beginning. This might have appeared as a simple example, but now some complications are coming up. Okay. Every for line has its partner as next line. Okay, so there was this for line, and then there is a next line. Do we have a next line for this for line? The answer is no. So let us copy paste next J also. This next J I'll copy and I'll paste it. What I do is if the commands come in pairs. So the other day we saw with and end with, correct? Just in case you type with so and so, then my recommendation is you should immediately write end with also. At least write that line end with, and in between you can go on writing. You should close it. So for and next, they come as pairs. So the moment you write for, you should immediately write next. And in between you can keep writing. Okay, so I'm going to run another loop. In fact, I'm going to run it first at the beginning. I capture the name. I select the sheet. Okay, and I capture the name. Okay, the sheet is selected. Its name is captured. And now what will be the idea? The idea is this. If active sheet dot name. Now this is something you will have to type. Or you already have active sheet dot name. You can simply write sheet name. Okay, don't even type it. You should copy it. Okay, copy from here. Copy this word sheet name because it's already written. If sheet name equal to, and then you can copy from down here. Do copy paste, maximum copy paste. Don't even take the risk of typing. I assure you. Okay, I can write on stamp paper and give that to you. That when you will type values, you will make mistakes. Silly mistakes. Okay, which ends up creating a new variable, which ends up talking about a sheet which doesn't exist and such things. Okay, so stick to your values. If the values are already correctly written at one place, you want to involve them again, just do copy paste. It may sound boring. At times you may have to scroll up and down for that, but it's worth that because later in testing and debugging, you don't have to handle these silly mistakes. Right? So I hope you have copied this. If sheet name equal to table of contents, then I'll put a space bar and then I'll put then, and then I'll write the command active sheet dot delete. Okay, this we can borrow from the library also. Active sheet dot delete. Okay, you might ask me, how do I know this command? Okay, I know this by heart because I've used it many times. But otherwise, there is no great skill behind it. Because I've used it many times, I remember it. You may not remember, but then you know that there is a library. So you can switch to the project macro code library, come to library, and maybe from the beginning you try to find the word delete. The keyword over here is delete. So delete a column, delete a row, delete an Excel file, delete checkboxes. Somehow delete sheet is not there. Oh. Well, I don't claim I have all the commands. Frankly, it surprises me that delete sheet is not there. You have delete checkboxes, but not delete sheet. That's something worth adding. But let us assume that it is not there, but you can always record it, right? You can always record it. Okay, trust me, it is active sheet dot delete, and you can check for yourself. Like if you type active sheet dot delete and without any spelling mistakes. Without spelling mistakes, if you type it nicely, when you come down, Excel automatically writes the first alphabet of each keyword in capital. This is one quick primary indicator that this is correct. Okay, so we can have this loop. Okay, is everybody with me? So I've created another loop involving sheets for next loop where I'm saying you run from now. Here I'll start from 1. Okay, this loop starts from 1. Okay, I had changed it to 2. Make sure that this loop starts at 1. Okay, some issues are there. And I did not check the chat box. Anuradha ji, is your issue solved or it's still there? You had posted this about 10 minutes back. Okay, it is solved. Great. Now Naveen Sharma is asking, can we add a new name instead of table of content? That will be confusing. New name means what? You will put another name. Then table of content will also be there and the new one will be there. Now I want to run it for the third time. If I want to run it for the third time, then I've got the old name also, new name also. So there is no end to it. See, I want to give this immense possibility. I want to extend it to the user that theoretically user may run this macro 1,000 times. Every time he gets a revised table of content based on the situation at that point of time in a very smooth manner. Okay. Yes, Shashidharanji, you want to have a word?
So I was just asking, suppose we by chance the sheet table of contents, it is somewhere in between. When the counter starts 1, it is not table of contents. Somewhere in between this table of contents is available, means this delete has to be built into somewhere down the lane. So I mean,
it's testing each and every sheet. I'm not looking only at the first sheet. Okay, I'm looking at all the sheets. Doesn't matter. The user has placed it in the middle for the reason best known to it. User has placed in the middle.
no, sir.
No
Sir,
problem.
my question is, suppose we run it this way, it so happens that the existing sheet table of contents is on count 3. Suppose it's on count 3. It checks for count 1. It is not table of contents. It proceeds. It comes out of this loop. And then later, it comes in this table. There is no problem. No, it's not creating after that. Okay.
No. It's just testing.
Okay, sir. I understood.
We'll see that.
So,
Okay, we'll come to that. Okay, we have not
uh,
yet gone through it. We'll come to
okay,
it. Okay, you might have
sir.
followed it, but
No,
in any case, I'm not discussing that right now.
okay,
So
sir.
we'll come
Okay,
to that.
I have understood. Okay.
Great. Jayesh Ji has asked another question. Don't we use else before next G as we have used if then? So Jayesh Ji, if then else is a standard structure, but else is an optional argument. So I'm saying if sheet name equal to table of contents, then do this. What if sheet name is not table of contents? So I'm silent about it. I have this liberty to stay silent. Um, that's an interesting point that you have brought up because the Excel function of if is not that way. We have if as a function in Excel. Okay, where ordinarily we specify the logical test also, then value if true also and value if false also. I don't remember any situation where I've not given true as value of true also and no value of false also. Okay, I mean I have specified only one of them. That has never happened till date. I have specified both. But when it comes to VBA, you can exercise this liberty that you may decide not to go for else. If this happens, then do this. If this doesn't happen, then just go to the next line. That's all you need to do. Okay.
Just one
That's again
question,
something
sir.
we will see.
One question.
Yeah.
Can we add after active sheet dot delete that end loop? Because there will be only one sheet table of content.
Correct.
Once we delete
So
that
that's a
sheet,
good point brought by you. So I didn't want to burden the users with that, but since you have mentioned it, we'll do it. Okay. What he's trying to say is that we identified one sheet called table of contents and we have even deleted it. Now, is there any point in continuing? It is illogical to continue because at any point of time, there can only be one sheet with the name table of contents. You started the macro, there was one sheet and you have deleted it. Now, why you are checking the other sheets? It could be the very first sheet, it could be the third sheet. You have 10 sheets in all. Let's say in the third sheet, it's table of contents you have deleted. Should you check the rest 7? It's a waste of time. So we can exit the loop if you want, and that's a very logical thing to do. Okay, so I'll take this point and I will incorporate it. Okay, so what we'll do is if sheet name equal to table of contents, then active sheet dot delete, and then we'll also exit the loop. And what I'll do is I'll take a line break here. Now I had written originally active sheet dot delete immediately. Now I'll take a line break. Okay, so after then you press enter key. So this comes on the next line. Okay, if sheet name equal to table of contents, then what to do? Then first thing is you delete that sheet, active sheet. Again, I'll press enter. Next thing is I'll say exit for. I think we had used this command earlier, right? When we were running through the loops, you can open the topic of loops and cross check. We had discussed at that point of time exit for. Now, after then, you have taken a line break. And instead of one thing, you are doing two things. Or it could be 20 things or 200 things also. Okay, you might write a long code of 200 lines, which is conditional. If the condition is satisfied, then you will do all this A, B, C, D, alpha, beta, gamma till omega. Everything you will do. Okay. Now, Excel needs a clarity that which are conditional and which are non-conditional. So it is compulsory the moment you write then and then you take a line break and then you might tell two things or 200 things to be done conditionally. At the end of it, once you are through, you should not only you should, but you must place this line and if write it this way. After then there is a line break. Then next thing to be done is on the next line. Next thing to be done is on the next line. And these two things are conditional. Rest are not conditional. Rest of the things to be done, whether this is satisfied or not satisfied. So I'm just marking that by writing end if. End if means what I am telling Excel, please end the if. The if starts here and if ends here. So that is end if. Okay. So
Sir, one question, sir. One question. Here in this code, the two blank lines before starting if and after end if, that's only created for the purpose of proper identification. It is not mandatory.
Yeah. So you can put 10 lines if you want, or you can have everything continuous. Doesn't matter. Okay. I'm creating blank lines so that this block of if stands out distinctly. Okay, so anybody who is watching this screen, somebody who is watching this as a recorded video also, he will get that clarity. So for that purpose, I'm doing that. That's the only reason. So there is no other reason, and you can have all these lines as continuous, not a single blank line in between.
Okay.
But then we normally do leave blank lines in between for better understanding. That's all. Okay, have you all written this?
Sir,
So now let us check this part. Should we?
sir, sir. So
Let's
means
check it.
that whatever we started the command, it should be ended some point, or it should be continued as a next. Like for the loop we use J.
Hmm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
We started if and we ended if. So whenever we start command, it should be ended. Am I right?
Yeah. So if the commands go in pair, So like, if then, and you are going to take a line break. So that end if has to be placed somewhere. So it could be a good idea. Let's say you have something on your mind. Okay, that's conditional. You write the conditional if A equal to B. That is your condition. Then, and now you want to do 200 things. While the 200 things are yet to be written, the first thing I do is I just put 2, 3 times enter and I write end if. And now let me just enlist all those 200 lines in between. So I'm not going to miss the pair of commands. If I miss the pair of commands, okay, for example, if I miss this end if, okay, there is an if, there is a then, there is a line break, then I say x equal to y, those kind of things I keep writing. I forgot the end if. When I try to run this macro, okay, when I press F8, I'll get this message block if without end if. Okay, which means you have taken a line break after then, but now Excel doesn't know where to end it. There is a block if, there is an if which goes as a block, but there is no end to it.
Okay.
This command will disappear. This error message will disappear if I put an end if here. So if I try it now it will take off. Now if I press F8 now, again F8, it takes off. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
So
yes.
some codes go as pairs. If they go as pairs, write the pair at the beginning itself. Some silly mistakes, those hunting activities you don't want at the last minute.
Yes.
So,
Got it.
Getting my
so,
point?
sir, sir, understanding these error messages is also important, no?
Yeah, so that's where I'm explaining this to you. Otherwise,
Okay,
what will happen is you will learn this the hard way. So I'm trying to make it
okay,
easy for
thank
you.
you.
So I have learned all these things the hard way by burning my fingers, and that's where I have evolved my own strategies. Like
Okay,
what I do is I write if and I immediately write end if. After then, if I press enter, immediately I write end if. That is my style. That is my strategy to ensure that at least that error will not come.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's test this now. So I'm going to again resize this suitably. So now I do have a table of content sheet. Okay. Remove this Project Explorer again. Okay, table of content sheet is there and the other sheets are also there. I hope everybody is with me. What we have done is effectively we have written this loop is additional and that is supposed to address that table of contents. We'll delete it. Okay, at any point of time, we'll have only one sheet called table of contents. Even if you want to revise it, let the old one get deleted and we'll create the new one. I'll press F8. Okay, may I proceed? F8, sub table of contents, again an F8. For j equal to 1 to sheets.count. Okay, so it's a 5 cell thing, like 5 sheet thing. Sheets j dot select. Sheet name equal to active sheet dot name. The very first one. The very first one is table of contents actually. So then what we do, when I press F8, comes down. Why it came down? Because the condition is satisfied. Okay, just for testing, I just put a something. I'll bring it back. Okay, you can watch it. You don't do this. Okay, but just for testing, just I'm demonstrating something. Suppose the condition is not satisfied, then what will happen? So now I've just made a slight change. So now the condition will be violated. Correct? If this gets violated, then it directly jumps to end if. Okay, it has bypassed these two lines. Why? Because the condition did not get satisfied. So it just proceeds from here. It comes directly to end if. End if doesn't have any meaning of its own. It just marks the end of the if and then it proceeds. Are you getting it? So if the condition is not satisfied, whatever is between if and end if all will be bypassed and the subsequent lines will be executed. But in my case, in this example, actually, this is satisfied. So now we are together here, right? Let's delete it. Okay, I hope you are also with me. Try to stay with me. Don't go ahead of me. Even though you have finished it earlier, I'm at an average pace. I'm explaining also while doing. So you have every possibility of going ahead of me, but just curb that temptation and stay with me. On the other hand, some of you might possibly lag behind. So just pull up your socks and try to stay with me. Okay, I'm going enough slowly. I don't think I'm going fast. Okay, so just buck up and stay with me. Now when I press F8, now I get this message, which is a standard message. I'm sure you have seen this message before also. So this is just a confirmation seeked by Excel that Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. Do you want to continue? Right? We know this. So what do? Of course, we want to delete it. So I press the delete key. Okay, we have pressed this delete key while the macro was running. Okay, macro asked us a question, or macro did not ask actually. This is a normal Excel procedure that before deleting any sheet, whether you are running macro or otherwise, it asks for a confirmation. Okay? So we pressed a button and we answered. Now
So,
Excel
sir,
knows table of contents was there and it was deleted.
so
Now
sir,
we'll
it
exit.
means that,
Yes.
sir, it means that when you are running a macro with this delete command somewhere in between, a manual intervention will be required for the
Ah,
running to proceed. No?
yes.
Okay.
That is exactly my point. And do we want a manual intervention is something we will discuss.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come to that point.
All right, sir.
Okay, I'll just hold your point. That is the point which I really want to address, but I'll come to that in few minutes. For now, let's go ahead. Okay, so we have a sheet. We had a sheet rather, table of contents. We deleted that successfully. Now there is no table of contents. There is no chance that there is another table of contents. It's technically impossible. So no point in running the loop for the other sheets. You know, there are many, there are 4 more sheets. Why to waste time? So exit for is the command. When I press F8, what exit for does? It exits that loop. Okay, exit for, and then I directly come to sheets 1 dot select. Okay, this was another enhancement. Somebody had raised this point, so we had incorporated this enhancement also. Sheets 1 dot select. Okay, just for demonstration's sake, I will deliberately activate some other sheet. For example, another sheet. Okay, there is a sheet with the name another sheet, and I've deliberately activated it. It is not the first sheet in the sequence. If I press F8, what happens? It takes me to the first sheet. And then sheets.add.name equal to table of contents. Now there is no point, no problem. I won't get error number 1004. And moreover, the way I've written the code, table of contents is automatically my very first sheet. And the remaining part is known to you. Correct? Remaining part is just the same.
Sir, now there is a problem. No? Now the remaining part starts with j is equal to 2.
Huh.
So now, then it will skip the first sheet now. No? Now that once
Just
the
skip the
table,
first sheet. You know the first sheet is going to be table of contents. We can run and see. Let's see how it reacts. Okay.
I
So
mean
I'm
my
saying
question,
I'll press
I have not
F8.
made my
Counter is
question
1.
clear.
Just try it. See, counter is 1. Okay. Then I start the loop from 2. I'm not starting the loop from 1. So from the sheet number 2 onwards, sheets j dot select, because I don't want to include. This was also a point. I think Asmi had raised this, that we don't want table of contents to appear as a sheet. We want the other sheets. Okay. That's why I'm starting the loop from 2. Otherwise, you can start the loop from 1. So sheets j dot select. Second sheet is selected now. Second sheet in the sequence. Its name is captured. Counter to begin with was 1. That was the initial value. Now I increment it by 1. And in worksheet table of contents cells counter comma row. Counter comma 1. Counter value is 2. So second row first column. I enter sheet name. So resultantly you get sheet number 1. I mean the number 1 as the sheet name coming here. Okay. Right, next J. Again, if I finish these things, if I reached it here, now it is sheet number 2. Getting the point? And if I just put a break here, break point, if I insert a break point here, and if I press F5, then you can see all the sheets are enlisted. Right? You can have one more enhancement if you want. Okay, at the end of it, once the loop is over, you can give a header. There is no header. Why have you made this list? What does it signify? So you can just copy this line, and after the loop you paste it, and you say, okay, this particular line you copy, paste it here after the loop, and then say worksheets table of contents dot cells 1 comma 1. Okay, not counter comma 1, but 1 comma 1 is going to be in a pair double inverted comma sheets. So this is the list of sheets. Okay, right? Sheets, list of sheets, anything. Sheets in the file, whatever you want to write. Okay, I'll leave this to you. But make sure it's in a pair of double inverted commas. And this is in 1 comma 1 only. Okay, so then you end up giving a header also. If I run this line also, if I bring that arrow back and run it, I get the header also. And then I can end the macro by pressing F8. Okay, is this part clear to everybody? Any question on this part? Okay, this understanding is clear.
My line break is not getting taken. After sheet name, it's directly coming exit, like end if. It's not taking the delete option.
Sorry, come again.
When I'm running F8, it's from sheet name is directly coming to end if. The two commands active sheet or delete and exit for it's not taking. It's not coming to the.
But
It's
do you
also
have
does
a
not.
table of contents or sheet? Do
Yes.
you have it that sheet?
Yes.
Then just check the spelling. Okay, check the spelling. There might be a small mistake in that.
Actually, I'll check.
Else you can paste the screenshots of both of them. Okay, the Excel view and the macro code view. Maybe, make sure that the Excel is also visible. All the sheet names are also visible the way I have arranged. And you take one single screenshot and paste it in the chat. And let me see if I can do something about it. Anuradha ji has a question. Should the end if be before exit for? No. End if should be after exit for. Exit for is a part of your conditional execution. Why will you exit? You will exit before the because the condition is met. If you place it after that, then in the first instance, it will exit in any case. Okay, you don't want it to exit in any case. You want to exit only if this condition is satisfied. So end if is after that. Let me see. What's this? So these are the sheets, table of contents. Okay, then sheet name. Apparently there is no problem. Everything looks okay. J equal to 1 to sheets J dot select. Ma'am, in your case, I think you have typed. Okay, you should not type.
Okay, table of contents, do I need to copy paste?
So it looks okay fundamentally, but if you observe, okay, right now your sheet name is table of contents with a capital C. Okay, but somewhere in sheets.add.name you have table of contents with a small c. So there is inconsistency. So this is
Yeah, actually
precisely the
I've
reason why
changed.
I'm insisting.
Yeah, actually it is
Other
not
than you
taking,
have to
so
change
I've
everywhere.
changed it. Okay. Okay.
Acha. So just change it everywhere and try to rerun the macro from scratch from the beginning. Okay, whatever you decided, whether you want a capital C or small c, but then it has to be reflecting everywhere, including your sheet name, because it will try to match, it will try to do a case match also. The case also should match. Okay, only then it should run. Having said that, the way you have defined, actually it should have run, but I'll just suggest make changes everywhere and then rerun and just see. Then I think it will work. But the bottom line is that basically we must copy paste. Okay, try doing that. In the meantime, I will just address the question raised by
So one more
another
question.
person.
So
Yeah.
one more query. As if we are doing the
Okay.
sheet name, so when we are running the initial command which we have run, so when there was two extra sheets, sheet 3 and sheet 5, which are not named. So it have not taken that into the count. So that is okay. Like we have to name the sheet, then only it will take into count, or like it
No,
should take all
count
the
is
sheets.
count. Count is count. You may have renamed them or not renamed them. Are they existing in your workbook? If the answer is yes, they are included in the count.
It's not coming. Like you can see as in my
You don't
screenshot, it is
have it,
from
right?
5.
You have deleted them apparently.
But there are sheet 3 and sheet 5.
So in the count it will come. Na? In sheets.count, you rerun the macro, you stop it and rerun it, and just check what is your sheets.count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will get 7. Renaming is not the point. It could be anywhere. You rerun the macro, okay, and then check your sheets.count. It will be 7. Naveen has a question. Naveen, what has happened? Compile error, sub or function not defined. How come you have invented this error?
Let me,
So at what point are you getting this?
yeah, let me share this.
A bit louder, please. I
Let
think.
me let me share the screenshot.
Yeah, if you share the screenshot, it will be good. Are you sharing it in the Teams chat?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The shared.
Okay. You have written sheet. It should be sheets. Again,
Okay.
same point. See, another example. You did not copy paste. You typed. Why you are typing? Typing takes more effort, more energy, and all these mistakes will happen. Okay, it was sheets bracket j dot select. That line is there. Okay, you should actually copy paste that line and just change the j to 1. Okay, you are getting this issue because the highlighted blue colored word is sheet, whereas the correct syntax is sheets, the plural. Okay, just
But
change it from singular to plural.
yes, yes. Change. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Great. Chalo. Now let's address this next point. Uh, so somebody had raised this point. Okay, so far so good. Definitely not bad. But there is a manual intervention needed when we delete, right? When we delete, what happens is a message box, a standard message comes. It comes in normal Excel also that data being deleted will be permanently deleted. Do you want to proceed? The answer could be yes or no. So we want it to be yes, but then we don't want a manual intervention, right? Can we just make it smooth without manual intervention? So what you can do is you can press enter at this point. Okay. If sheet name equal to table of contents, then you have already taken a line break. Already if and end if that pair is there. Okay. You do one thing before you delete, you turn off something known as display alerts. Okay, that is known as turning off the display alert, so that alerts won't come. So just make a little space and you write application dot. Okay, avoid spelling mistakes and you type application dot and then display alerts DIS. As you type, you can see that. Okay, no need to complete the spelling, just press tab. When you press tab, display alerts is selected and then you type equal to. When you type equals to, you get two options, false and true. Choose false, highlight and press tab. Okay, all this may be continuous. When you press down arrow, up arrow, then automatically space will be created. Okay, I want this line. How will you create this line? Don't really type each and every alphabet. No need for that. The first word application needs to be typed. Then put a dot. When you put a dot, you should get a drop down like this. If you don't get this drop down, means you have made a spelling mistake. If you are getting a drop down, just type DIS. You will see display alerts, press tab. Type equals to, highlight false, press tab. Tap, tap, tap. That way, quickly you will be able to build this line. More than quickly, there won't be any mistakes. We don't want silly mistakes. Okay, application.display alerts equal to false. What I'm doing is I'm stopping the alerts. No alerts to be flashed. Then you delete it. And after the deletion happens, let us turn it on back. Correct? So I'll make space after delete. I'll copy this line. I'll paste it here. And I'll make this true. Does that false? I will make true. So what am I doing effectively? If you pay attention to these blue colored highlighted cells, sorry, not cells, lines, you have application.display alerts equal to false. Means first you turn off the display alerts, then you delete the sheet. First you turn it off, then delete and you turn it back on. Why we turn it back on? Because there could be other reasons why alerts may come, and sometimes those alerts are genuinely some bugs or something. I want to see them. There is one foreseeable alert which I feel it is an unnecessary manual intervention by the user. I'm trying to bypass that, but I don't want to kill each and every possible alert. I want to keep the possibility open that some genuine issue comes, then the user should intervene. Okay, getting my point? So this is how you will build a structure.
Here, just one doubt is there. How can
Yeah.
we decide the default value of that alert? Whether it is true or means when system will ask
No,
whether to
alert
delete
itself
it or
won't
not.
be placed, na? So it's not a
Ah,
default value. So
means
I'm saying don't ask the question what I have written. See, it was asking a question whether I should delete or no. But I have written here delete, so you delete it. Don't ask questions. Okay,
okay,
that's what
okay.
I'm telling
Thank you.
Excel.
Yes.
Because the command is delete, it will just delete it then without asking questions. It was a control, but now I'm actually bypassing that control because I know why I'm deleting it. In the context in which I have written this code, I'm 100% sure there is no manual intervention needed. So I'm bypassing that. Okay, getting it? Should we test this once? You have written it, but does it work? Let us test it. So again, I'll restore my window. To Excel. We have an existing table of contents thanks to the previous round. Okay. So again, I'll press F8. Can we start? Everyone's ready. I press F8. Here's the first line. Again, press F8. Again, F8. Again, F8. Again, F8. So we start from J equal to 1. I'm going a bit faster now because we have done this multiple times. The first sheet is selected and its name captured is table of contents. Now the name captured, does it match with what I've written? When I press F8, I realize that yes, it matches. So now I know the only thing that I really want to do is just delete it. Then the message may come. So I'm going to turn off the alerts. Dot display alerts to be false. Application dot display alerts. What is the application? Application is Excel. Excel के display alerts को बंद करो. That's what we are trying to say. Active sheet को delete करो. Read it in English and then it's very easy. Active sheet dot delete. When I press F8, now it is simply deleted without the message, correct? Application dot display alerts equal to true. I turn it on and then I exit. So now 4 lines are conditional. All these 4 lines will be executed if the condition is satisfied. None of these 4 will be executed if the condition is violated. You will directly jump to end if. But now because of the exit for, I have jumped down. And the other things you know now. Okay, sheets 1 selected. Now table of contents has gone. So I add one more table of contents, counter equal to 1. And then the rest of the things. Can I just press F5? Yeah, I press F5 and the whole thing is over. So I get this table of contents. Okay, you can try it. If you have reached till here, I suggest you can test it something like this. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll not do F8 F8. If you have successfully tested it, once try running it at once. So I insert 2-3 sheets deliberately. Okay, I'll deliberately insert 2-3 sheets. Okay, some of them I will insert here. Okay, I won't bother to rename them just to save time. So I've got sheet 8 somewhere, I've got sheet 9, sheet 10, sheet 11, and table of contents has gone in the middle actually. Okay, now this is the way, this is the state in which I submit this to the macro. Okay, I submit this file to the macro. What I do is I go to developer tab, I click on macros. Yeah, I've got a macro called table of contents. If you find this confusing, because I've got a library also open, so too many programs are visible. If you want you macros in that you can choose this workbook. Okay, right now it is all open workbooks, but then you can choose this workbook. In this workbook, we have only 2 macros. Right now we are talking about table of content. So I select that and okay, these are the things, and then I press the run button. Almost instantly it does it. Okay, while the active sheet may be types, but then you come here now your old table of contents has gone. You have got table of contents at the beginning, and it also enlists sheet 11, sheet 10, sheet 9. All those are there. Okay, so table of contents by itself is not getting enlisted. If it is somewhere in the middle, we end up the macro brings it back. The user experience is user doesn't know what we are doing. User doesn't know how we have programmed it. User feels it is the same sheet. Even if user parks this here, his experience is that the macro is bringing it back as if here and is updating the sheets. Okay, even if new sheets get created or sheets get renamed, that is updated and this is brought to the left. That is his experience. That is his interpretation of how things are happening. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, this is the
Your
code that we
sheets
have.
are continuously added. Sheet added 11, 10, 9.
What is your question? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not getting in adding of sheets while running these codes.
Now, while running the code, you should not do. It should be 100% execution from start to end. While running, you don't add. That will be a problem. You stop the code. Make sure that your code is correct. First, do the testing. Okay, in the testing, small issues may come. You overcome those issues. Once you have finalized your code, this is my final code. Then before you rerun it, you insert some sheets just for testing purpose and then run it. What I did was I pressed F5. Okay.
You added sheets manually, not the by code.
No, not by code. Just manually I inserted some sheets just for testing.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it. Yes, yes.
I finished my existing testing by pressing F5
Mhm.
and then I inserted sheets and I reran it.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's what I did.
Yes.
Sir, I have a question now.
Yeah, yeah.
We
I
have
will
done all
interrupt
these
now.
exercise. We have, completed our macro writing.
Hmm.
And then we went to the workbook and then, using macros, run macro, we ran the macro and it was executed well. My question is, whatever we have written there, it is available in this workbook, but we have not saved the workbook with these written macros. It is automatically saved there.
You need to press Ctrl S. So you can press Ctrl S in Excel, then it gets saved. Or
No,
you press
even without
Ctrl
that,
S.
I
It
did not
won't get
save it.
saved automatically.
I did not save it, but the macro ran. I did
No,
not save it.
macro may not get saved. I mean, macro, it's like so long as the file is open, it will work. But if you close the file and you close it without saving, then you will lose your macro.
Okay.
Just like any
Okay.
work in Excel.
But
See, in Excel, you open a book one, so to say, okay, and you build a formula-based
okay.
structure. It works. You have not
Okay.
saved the
Okay. Okay.
file, but it works.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
close
Thank
it
you.
without saving, then that's a problem. You won't be able to retrieve it.
Thank you. Understood.
It goes exactly with the same logic. So you should save. And
Okay.
moreover, you should save it as a .xlsm file. In this
Okay.
case, what happened? This was a .xlsm file to begin with. So if I press Ctrl S, within a
Yes.
second it gets saved. I don't get that message. But if it is not a .xlsm file, then that will be a problem.
I think we now close the session. It is 9:35 p.m.
Yeah.
Sir, one question, sir.
I will request all to ask the question next time because see the staff is still sitting in office. It is 9:35.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So what you can do, you make a note of the question. I'm sorry, I cannot take the question because it is 9:35. So whatever the question, either you mark a mail to WRC, we forward it to the sir, or you can ask the same question in next time.
What I suggest is you make a note of the question.
Huh.
See, I log in before 7 p.m. generally.
Yeah.
Okay, last time it was an exception because of the
Yes.
power failure. But otherwise, I log in before 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. I am there. So
So you
those
can
whose
ask your
questions
question because
normally
we are
we wait
normally
till 5.
starting the session at 7:10 because
Yeah.
by that time maximum people are joined. So I'm waiting
So
for
that is
others
the
to
time
join because
they are like just silent. Instead of that, some questions may be asked
yeah.
that are pending from the previous session or that might have struck you after the session.
Okay. Any turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I would like to thank our speaker, Sri Nachiket Pendakar sir, for his excellent presentation and explaining in detail the concept of Excel macro. I'm sure that the participants joining are benefited from this session. I also would like to thank WRC staff for their continuous support and also all the participants who are joining. Thanks a lot. Our next webinar is on Friday at 5 to 7:30, 5 p.m. It is on a series of webinar on income tax. So I will request all to join for that session. Good night. Namaste.
Yes, thank you. Good night to everybody.